This time on episode 204 of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., we talk Iron Fist, Dragon Plays with Fire. We talk weekly Marvel news, and we talk your feedback.
I'm Michelle from the Starling Tribune, a proud member of the Gonna Geek Network. Just like the show you're listening to now, the opinions expressed are those of each individual host. Check out all the other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com and get ready because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
You have been granted clearance by Director Phil Coulson. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents granted clearance by the S.H.I.E.L.D. Director.
Now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Director Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Haley.
I'm Agent Lauren.
And I'm Consultant Michelle.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. We're a Marvel Comic Universe fan show. The show is recorded on Thursday, September 28th, 2017. Live from the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. studios and broadcast worldwide via www.geeks.live. Ladies, happy International Podcasting Day.
No way.
Wait, didn't we already have that?
It's actually September 30th, which is Saturday, but they actually started broadcasting tonight because for some reason they want to get ahead on the international dateline in New Zealand or something like that. So yeah, International Podcasting Day started
Didn't we do
tonight.
or was it National Podcasting Day? Like a couple weeks ago, I could have sworn we did a podcasting day.
It was like National Happy Creative Day.
Okay, whatever. Party all the time, man.
So we're actually podcasting on International Podcasting Day.
Close enough.
Ish.
Right. Hey, it's close enough for me, man.
You're going to take it, huh? So will
Exactly.
I. So will I. So thank you to all of our fans for downloading the show and downloading other podcasts on the GoodAGeek.com network. We really appreciate you participating in podcasting, especially on International Podcasting Day. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a fan-based podcast on the ABC television show Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Defenders on Netflix, Legion on FX, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and starting tomorrow, Marvel's Inhumans, and
Yay.
the Marvel Comic Universe in general.
Because of blowing up peanuts.
If you'd like to talk to us about blowing up peanuts, you could visit our website, legendsofshield.com.
If you want to leave a voicemail about the intricacies of blowing up peanut carts, you can catch us on our voicemail line at 844-THE+1 or 844-843-2871.
If you want to talk to me, Haley, or Michelle about what I thought I heard instead of blowing up peanuts, you can find us on Facebook at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D.
You can tweet us about blowing up peanuts in 140 characters and only 140 characters on Twitter at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D.
If you want to leave a comment on our YouTube video, you can catch us at youtube.com/GonnaGeek and tell us all about blowing up peanuts.
And remember, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a proud member of the GonnaGeek.com network.
Oh, for those long-term listeners of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., you heard her before. She's the vaunted Michelle from the Starling Tribune, another podcast on the Gonna Geek Network, the premier podcast talking about DC CW TV stuff and on the network. Yeah, that's right. So Michelle, welcome aboard again.
Thank you very much. And SP, no one cross promotes podcasts like you do. You know, you deserve that award that Stephen gave you year after year after year.
After year, after year, after yeah. Although that was a double purpose. It was a ding on another co-host on this show and you know, trying to bolster up my show. And the other show we're talking about, of course, is Crimson Comet, which talks about the Flash. And Haley, you might know something about that. I don't know.
I don't know anything about it. Never heard of it.
Well, we wanted to have Michelle back on for the final of Iron Fist because she suffered through so much with us. We wanted to give her the satisfaction of getting to the end.
Thank you very much.
It's like dragging that horse over the finish line and shooting it.
Oh, Lauren, you're so good with the analogies tonight. It's going to be a good show, folks, and we're going to get to it right now. Lauren, tell us about this title,
Yes.
Dragon Plays with Fire.
Well, I looked it up to see if it was like some of the others, a Shaolin Kung Fu move. And while I didn't find that, I did find Golden Dragon Plays with Water. So I'm just assuming they kind of mishmashed it up into something that sounds vaguely Kung Fu-y enough.
Was it Kung Fu-y or was it like Game of Thrones-y? Because dragons, in my mind, are Games of Thrones.
Well, there's a rich tradition of dragons in both Western and Eastern folklore, so it could be either.
Okay, well, I'll take that. Could be both. I'll go with the Game of Thrones because that's headcanon for me tonight. So, booyah. There you go. Hey, Haley, who directed this episode?
This episode was directed by Stephen Surjik. He has 52 directing credits starting in 1985. Some of his early work includes The Kids in the Hall. He directed one episode and was a film segment director for 24 episodes. Wayne's World 2, one episode of The X-Files. A bunch of like shows that I have never heard of in the early 2000s. He did 3 episodes of Flashpoint, 1 of Eureka, 7 of Psych, 1 of No Ordinary Family, 6 of Warehouse 13, 10 of Burn Notice. He did an episode of Arrow, an episode of The Flash, 2 episodes of Jessica Jones, 3 episodes of Daredevil. He did 7 episodes of Person of Interest before coming back to Marvel and doing an episode of Luke Cage. He did this episode of Iron Fist, 1 episode of The Defenders, which Starpa has not seen, and apparently he has 1 episode of the upcoming The Punisher.
That's right. He also directed an episode of Designated Survivor, which just premiered again last night for its season 2. Yeah, I'm hoping for better for Designated Survivor this year, because last year they had 4 different showrunners. Nothing kills a show better than trying to change direction 4 times during the year. Yay. Also, Stephen was listed as a producer for Intelligence, Warehouse 13, Kamala, Burn Notice, ladies, Burn Notice, Booyah, and the Romeo section.
I have seen 0 episodes of Burn Notice.
Oh, you missed out.
I liked Burn Notice.
Yeah,
Bruce Campbell, man.
And it ended great. So there you go. Hey, Lauren, who wrote this episode?
Well, this episode actually had 3 writers, and we'll start off talking with Scott Buck. Yep, Scott Buck has 13 writing credits going back to 1991. He wrote 10 episodes of Coach, 3 episodes of The Oblongs, which I liked, 1 episode of Everybody Loves Raymond. He wrote the teleplay for Tremors 4, The Legend Begins, 7 episodes of 6 Feet Under, 2 of Rome, 17 episodes of Dexter, 3 episodes of Iron Fist, and wrote 1 episode of Inhumans. He's also the producer for Iron Fist, Dexter, co-executive producer for an episode of Rome, supervising producer for 6 Feet Under, and I think he's listed as the showrunner for Inhumans.
That's right. And he wrote 1 episode of the Inhumans before they took his pen away. Okay, Scott Buck, we've talked about him before on this podcast. I won't belabor the point too much, but I'm a fan of his early work, but I'm not a fan of his later work. So maybe he can rekindle that great stuff from earlier on in his career. We'll see. Michelle, who else stepped in to help Scott write this episode?
Well, another writer is Tamara Becher-Wilkinson. 7 credits from 2008, including a whole host of story editor and script coordinators to include Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Wrote an episode of Warehouse 13, 6 Covert Affairs, 1 episode of The Runaways, 2 episodes of Iron Fist, including this one and The Blessing of Many Fractures, and also a producer for Covert Affairs and Iron Fist.
Woohoo! And rounding out the trio of writers, Haley, who do we have?
Pat Charles. He has 7 writing credits going back to 2000. He did an episode of Sons of Anarchy. He did a bunch of episodes of Bones. He wrote some episodes. He was also a story editor. He did 2 episodes of Resurrection and 2 episodes of Iron Fist this season. He is also a producer for Bones, Resurrection, and Iron Fist.
So pretty much a good creative team. Well, Scott Buck aside, a good creative team that has a lot of history behind them. So this is going to be a great episode, a great season finale for Iron Fist. And we're going to start talking about it on a good note. J-Money's back.
Yay!
She was awesome in this episode, and Claire was awesome in this episode. Like, both of them. Almost all my quotes are those 2.
Yeah, that's fair. They were great.
As always.
Every time Jerry Hogarth shows up, she's just, I mean, she lights up the screen. Her, Claire, Colleen mostly, although there were a couple of episodes there where it was just like, oh my God, such drama. But no, it's seriously, Carrie Ann Moss, and it's not just because, oh, she was Trinity. She's genuinely a good actress who brings this really imposing coldness to the role. And she reminds me a lot of Arya Taloak in Mass Effect, what she's bringing to this character. That whole kind of, don't F with me thing.
I like her so much more in Iron Fist than I did in Jessica Jones, too. Because in Jessica Jones, you got all of her train wreck of a personal life and the horrible way that ended. But in this, you just get her being awesome in her professional life.
Agreed.
Yeah, like when she's in the office and she sees Harold come in and she's like, wait, you faked your death? That is serious fraud. Like not like, oh, how, not everything. Like, you are in so much legal trouble. How can I benefit from this?
I'm going to get so much in billings.
Yeah.
Yes. The second she sees something, it's like, you can see the numbers turning in her head. She's great.
Well, she needs numbers, right? Because doesn't she have alimony to pay?
Yes, and quite a lot of it.
No, well,
wait, she's dead.
She's dead.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
No,
she would have had a lot of alimony if she wasn't dead. So,
yeah.
And for those that haven't seen Jessica Jones, I'm sorry, spoilers.
I kind of feel like there's not a whole lot of people who are watching just Iron Fist.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. Matter of fact, there's probably fewer people that watched Iron Fist than the rest of the episodes or the rest of the series.
Yeah, and considering that Jessica Jones was the most watched of the Marvel Netflix series, I think we're probably not dropping a huge spoiler if you're listening to this. And yeah.
So are you arguing with me just to argue with me here? Because, I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I'm just saying.
I just love that scene in the alleyway where she's just like, I have to first tell you that, you should turn yourself in. And then I love when she gives the options. Like one of them is like, you can return to that Xanadu place. That's an option.
Yeah, if there was one person who just absolutely does not care for this weird new agey stuff that Danny's into now, it's her.
I actually watched Xanadu a few years ago because it was brought up so much with Defiance. And I was like, oh, what? I don't remember this. And then I watched it. I was like, yeah, I know why I don't remember this. But yeah, Xanadu.
Yeah, why would you voluntarily do that to yourself? I mean, I like bad movies, but damn, man.
There's a line.
Okay, now wait a minute. My preteen self loved that movie. Okay, so yes, it's bad. All right, but just so you know that there are a lot of my age that are like, it's like this weird sort of like, come on, it's not that bad. But when I saw it as an adult, it's like, oh.
There's so much stuff like that. It's like you have this soft spot because you saw it as a kid and you come back to it as an adult and you're like, what the hell was I on? Is childhood just like a series of drugs?
So it was brought up because Sean did some amazing art with Jamie Murray with roller skates on. So that was the whole Xanadu thing.
Nice.
Voices of Defiance, yeah. All right, let's get back to Iron Fist here, and let's get into another awesome character, Claire.
Again, she's amazing. Yes. Rosario Dawson is a living angel.
I love that the scene where Danny and Colleen are talking about like who's gonna kill Harold, and she's like, "What?
Is there a solution,
you guys?
Don't kill anybody."
Hey, we can still call the police. Remember all those episodes before where I said we call the police? That option still on the table.
My favorite part was where she's like, okay, look, I love you both. You're both very similar. You both need therapy. Like she just leaves it at that. Again, Claire is the only person in any of these shows with a lick of common sense. And I feel like the writers are just really enjoying playing that up.
Well, you get this far into the series, there's not much to play with, so you might as well play with something that really works.
I like that there's a few characters that don't know they're in a comic book show. So they're like bringing out some common sense. Like Claire's one of them. Jerry is kind of one of them sometimes. And Misty Knight, a lot of the times, is one of them.
Misty and Jerry are both they're both here from Law and Order.
Yeah.
They're in a completely different genre show, and they just kind of wandered into this show. And Claire, she's just here. She's the audience. She's just like, what is wrong with you people? No normal person acts like this.
Yeah, talking about not normal people acting like this. Okay, so Danny is all the enraged because he learns from Gal that his parents were killed, not by Gal, although she provided the poison. It was done by Harold, and then he goes...
Oh my goodness, who hasn't been predicting that since episode 1?
I am shocked. Shocked!
Aghast, I say. Aghast.
But then they bring up the fact that, okay, well, this wasn't your mission to begin with, Danny. Why did you actually leave Kunlun? There is no good reason why he left Kunlun. None whatsoever, other than he left his post.
I've mentioned this before. If they could have come up with a viable reason, like, I have heard that the Hand is in New York. I'm going to go there and see what's happening because I used to live in New York. Then I would have accepted this as, a much more sympathetic portrayal of Danny. Instead, he's like, I want this thing because I want this thing. And as soon as I get it, I'm ditching my duties. Even though it was drilled into me that this is what those responsibilities are. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to make up some story about why I left.
Or if he had found, he'd been going through his stuff and he found some evidence that's, something fishy had gone on with his parents' death. That would have made sense too. Like, yeah, it's a really selfish reason, but at least it's a reason. Right now, there is no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, one of the big things I did not like about this series, there's a lot. We never saw the fight with the dragon that made him the Iron Fist. He keeps going on about how he's actually the Iron Fist, and part of me is like, well, he has a hand glowing thing, but it's like, maybe that was just some odd power and he's stopped by Tokyo to get the tattoo, and maybe he was like fake or something. Like, there's no fight. And it's like, if they would have shown him becoming the Iron Fist and maybe he had some weird vision, because I think they try to do something with the Hawk. Like, you saw the Hawk in Kunlun and then you see the Hawk in New York, but they didn't do very well with that. It's like, I don't...
It's the same, not quite well CGI'd Hawk. Destiny.
That's why they didn't do a dragon. Have you seen their CGI budget?
I feel like I'm kind of glad that we didn't see that fight because I wouldn't have believed it. With just the hints, I can imagine something really awesome. But I don't feel like in this series, Finn Jones was a good enough martial artist to pull off a really super awesome epic fight that would have been needed. And I don't feel like their CGI budget was, enough to allow for a really super awesome looking dragon.
I feel like they should have done more flashback stuff to Kunlun to really establish it as a place that exists and a part of Danny's life, or they should not have gone there at all and just had Danny telling stories about his time in Kunlun. But they did like this weird, every once in a random while, tiny flashback, and it was just odd. An odd choice, I think.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. It just, I don't know, it felt out of place whenever it happened.
What if they actually filmed the scene with Danny fighting the dragon, but the footage was so bad that they decided, oh no, we're not going to show this?
I am going to give them the benefit of a doubt and hope that they did not. Because again, I would like to believe that there was some level of thought put into this. And again, there's some really competent writers and directors and actors and people that work on this show. And it's just that I think because of time limits, and I think because they never really quite got the grasp on the character, you know, it never quite fit all the way. And in retrospect, it's easy to say, oh, this is what they should have done with it. But I feel like it's easy to say that because we saw what didn't work after it had already been done.
So let me ask you this question. You just said that there was a bunch of really talented people that worked on the show, and we listed them off, the creative team, the writers, the directors, the producers, as we went through the series. There were some very creative people that have done successful things right around this project. So let me ask you this. Could anyone have saved this series?
I think it needed a better showrunner.
Agreed.
Like, you can't have great people directing and great people writing and come up with such a crappy product unless they're lacking direction themselves.
Yeah, you need somebody with kind of a firm hand to make sure everyone's going in the right direction. And you need, I don't know how much Marvel Studios interfered. I don't know how much Netflix interfered. But you need somebody who can kind of stand up for what they want their vision to be, as well as kind of negotiating. I feel like we got a really, really good example of that with Luke Cage and Chio Hodari Coker.
Yeah, and part of me also kind of wonders, it's like, it seems like the people who really had the power, like, I kind of feel like there were some times when Rosario Dawson were like, I'm not saying that. Because like her scenes were always really good. Her dialogue seemed to be really good. And it's like, you know, I've been here since the beginning, and, you know, you can't give me crap.
Well, it kind of reminds me of talk that you get from the Star Wars people, like the people that worked on the original series versus, you know, the second trilogy that happened. The reason the first series turned out well is because there were actors on stage that were like, yeah, no, that's stupid. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, they were basically...
And they were experienced enough that they could step forward and say it. And then I think what happened in the second series is, like, these were all young actors who were just getting started, and they didn't have the guts to stand up to George Lucas and be like, no, this is dumb. I'm not going to do it that way.
Yeah, you look at, you know, again, Star Wars, the original trilogy, and you see the behind the scenes stuff, and they were directing each other. And they were lucky enough to have, like, you know, Alec Guinness there and Harrison Ford there, who, you know, was not quite inexperienced, but still not very experienced, but he had a little bit more. And then you had, you know, Carrie Fisher, who'd grown up around Hollywood. So they kind of had an idea of what they were looking for. And they could each kind of give feedback. And then, yeah, you have these new actors who were just kind of going along with what George Lucas says. And
I feel like that was probably happening a little bit in this. Like, Rosario Dawson has some acting chops, and Carrie-Anne Moss has some acting chops. You know, if they get like a bad line in the script or a bad directing, you know, or a bad direction, like, they can be like, I don't think I'm going to do it that way. Whereas someone younger, like Finn Jones or Colleen,
Jessica Henwick.
Thank you, Jessica Henwick. Like, they might not feel as comfortable standing up to these writers or directors or whoever to say, I don't think that's the right choice for my character at this time.
Also, I don't know if it's an America versus Britain thing, because Jessica Henwick and Finn Jones are both British.
True.
Versus, you know, again, I don't know. I am not an actor. All I really have knowledge about are, you know, stories that I hear about how stuff works. And that, you know, means diddly squat, really. So all we can really do is kind of backseat quarterback and guess.
Yeah. Well, and we said, you know, maybe it was interference from Netflix or Marvel Studios or whoever, and it's not all on the showrunner. But all the other showrunners would have been getting that exact same level of interference and whatever from on high, and they still managed to make very good shows. Every other Marvel show, except for this one.
Yeah, it seems, I think it's a combination of showrunner plus wrong casting. You know, Finn Jones is a decent actor, but he was wrong for this role.
It's interesting that you say that, because at Born to Eat Bacon on Twitter, he must be listening live. He tweeted us on Twitter and he said, Danny Rand was horrible. Worst Marvel casting since Edward Norton as Bruce Banner.
I kind of liked Edward Norton.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with him.
That said, Finn Jones here, I feel like in the actual Defender series, he grew into it a little more. Here, he was definitely, you know, I don't know. Again, we talked about it early on. It felt very much like, you know, your freshman, sophomore college buddy who went and spent a semester abroad and came back acting like they're the expert in all things, you know, foreign studies.
Someone spent a semester in Britain and came back with an English accent.
Yeah. Like,
well,
but
that would happen to me. I mean, I go to Texas and I come back with y'all drawl.
Mirror neurons. But anyway, I really do feel like there was probably too much of a rush and pressure to do Iron Fist and get all of, you know, these Defenders.
So maybe the time frame before Defenders was to blame, and not necessarily Scott Buck.
I feel like, yeah, that's probably a big chunk of it. And if he has a reputation as being somebody who could just kind of get something on, just be the person who gets a thing out on schedule, then it's kind of his unlucky luck to have this and Inhumans, because again, we know there was that rush to get Inhumans out.
Yeah, true. Because it changed it from a major motion picture to a TV series and tried to push it in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. time slot for this fall. We have more news about that later. But to get back to this episode of Iron Fist, Harold, you know, in retrospect, I don't like Harold as a character. Just he's creepy, he's slimeball, whatever. But the actor pulled Harold off well. I mean, Harold was a shining example of a good, well-performed character through this episode.
Oh, David Wenham is a really good actor. I mean, he's not just Faramir from Lord of the Rings. Go watch pretty much anything he's in. He's really good.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, he understood that he was in a comic book show and that he was the comic book villain, and he's like, oh, okay, that's who Harold is. Here's some scenery. Let me chew on it. And I know I could get away with it because that's what Harold Meacham is.
Yeah, he really played up the charm, the kind of calculatingness, the Weasleyness when it was needed. And yeah, he was, I think, one of the better parts of this series.
You know, I just have to say,
again, he's a despicable character, but he played him so well.
He did, and I enjoyed it. In retrospect, I enjoyed it. Now, I don't for a second believe he's dead because it's a comic book show, unless you show me the body, or in this case,
they cremated his body.
They burned him.
Yeah, he's dead.
I half expected them to like flip those flames on and then see him like pound his hand against the glass or something.
Me too.
Okay, so
and have like not Penny's boat.
So I just have to bring this up because we talk about it over on Starling Tribune all the time. If you want to make money and you're living in a comic book universe, become a window repairman because you will make a fortune.
The second people start running around in spandex around here, I think I'm going to change jobs because you're right. It's like that and home insurance salesman.
No, because you're going to be paying out a lot.
Oh, good point. Good point. But if you make it so there's a lot of loopholes.
Yeah, no, I think that's why you got to get in at like the contractor level.
Okay.
So you're the one actually doing the repairs.
Okay. So vehicle repair person and window repair person.
That's right.
Those are the two things you want to get in on.
You specialize in getting body dents out of the roof.
Why is there always a car just perfectly placed on? I know it's because, you can make the crunching noise, but still, it's just improbable, guys.
Oh, it kind of breaks the fall.
Really good.
Breaks the fall a little bit, like Danny's mom. Oh, she's okay. She just broke her leg.
Give it a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out, did Danny come from the roof into there, or?
I think it was a window washer thing, yeah.
Oh, okay. Because, it looks cool with the yellow thing coming in and stuff, but I'm just like, where'd he come from?
Well, when a mommy and a daddy love each other very much.
and they have a special hug.
That's not the Birds and the Bees talk I expected from Lauren, but this is a PG-13 show, so we'll just run with that. And then we'll move on to Madame Gao, who was awesome. She was only in 2 scenes, but oh man, she just made the episode that much better.
I have started to just love Madame Gao. Well, not started. It's been over several shows now. And she's so cool.
Yeah, she can just stand there and look at you and you're like, she's the best thing in this scene.
She really is. And then especially, she's just talking through a cell this episode in her first scene, and she's just captivating. And then in her second scene, she's just sitting there, and you're just there like, ah! It's so great. I'm so happy with every scene she's in. She's just become this really great recurring villain.
And I love how she stands there and it's like, I've never lied to Danny. And when you look at everything, she really technically hasn't.
She's like the Palpatine of this. Like, technically, you go back and you look again with the Star Wars, but you go back. Obi-Wan is constantly twisting the truth and lying to Luke. And everything that Vader and Palpatine tell him is technically the truth. It's like that whole, the devil only lies to you if, wait, what's the saying? It's something about the devil will lie to you unless the truth hurts more. Something like that. Yeah. It's a good saying. It's a good saying. But yeah, she's so good. And yeah, technically she hasn't lied to him.
No.
Yay, Gao!
She hasn't, and then at the end, when she is sitting at the table with her back turned to Joy, who is with Davos, conspiring on what they're going to do, and Gao's right there, you really don't, wow, there's a lot of stuff that's going on right there, setting it up for the future. Really well done at the end.
Yeah, she's someone that I hope we see again. Even after what happens in The Defenders, I really hope we see her again.
Okay. Trying to stay obtuse. I appreciate that. But all right. Defenders have been out for, I don't know, a couple of months now, and I just haven't seen it yet. Looking forward to starting it next week. So we had that going on, and a couple weird things with Danny this episode. The whole PTSD reactions, the weird camera work around his memory shots, and whether or not his Iron Fist is working. I didn't get all that. We alluded to it before with the hawk or the crow. This is another thing. We didn't get resolution to it. It's like, why even bring it up? You didn't tell me what it was all about.
Well, and it just started in this episode. It's not like it's something that they've been building towards or that we've seen in the last couple episodes while he was having problems. It was just in this episode.
No, it started last episode. I do remember it a little bit.
No, not with all the camera work and the PTSD stuff. His powers weren't working right, but they did different stuff with it in this episode than what they had done before.
No. They had really short memory work before and slight camera stuff, but it wasn't this. It's getting worse, apparently, whatever it is, and it got worse fast.
It's this weird, jagged, bright camera thing. I had a headache while I was watching it, and it just made that headache worse. So I guess, spoiler, if you're watching and you're prone to seizures or migraines, be careful.
Yeah, definitely. It was just weird. Michelle,
it just
what did you
seemed
think?
unnecessary. Sorry.
That's all right. Just seemed unnecessary. Michelle, what did you think about it?
It's one of those things that, again, it just highlights one of the flaws of the series, that it really wasn't woven into everything really well. And it's like, why is he still having these issues, and why, like, how does everything connect? And was it the writing? Was it Finn Jones's acting? It just falls apart. It doesn't have the resonance I think they wanted it to have.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I can see what they were trying to go for, but one, the effect was really distracting and kind of painful. And two, because this was pretty much the only episode we saw it in, it came out of nowhere. There was no explanation. It didn't work. If they had been doing that throughout the series, or even just in the second half of the series, as he realized things aren't what they seem, I would not have been as just annoyed by it.
Well, and when that effect wasn't there and you saw Finn Jones in the scene, like, it looked like he was making some weird acting choices, or maybe he was given weird direction. Maybe they were trying to cover that up with whatever effect they were using.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever it was, it gave me a headache, or made my headache worse.
Hey, Lauren, you wanted to talk about Clara's claws. Did you have her? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I've been dying to talk about this since I watched the show. So when, she's walking out, Danny's there, he's like, I brought pizza. I'm not going to make these huge dumb gestures like I did before. And Claire grabs these like, tiger claw weapons. And she's like, I think these are mine. And I started screaming because I think, and I don't know if this is the intent, but I think this is, kind of just a little Easter egg for fans. I think they might be hinting at Claire becoming the White Tiger. Now, White Tiger is a martial arts based superhero in Marvel, traditionally Latin American. Right now in the comics, she's Eva Ayala. And while her powers come from this little mystical tiger amulet, they don't have to for the show. I mean, it could just be Claire fighting crime with, the little tiger shredder things.
Hey, it's a good of explanation as any. We'll run with that, and that'll be it. Claire is now going to be the White Tiger.
Yeah, if she's not, working at a hospital, she could still do the nursing stuff. Because people are going to, again, these people need to be stitched up like every other hour. But she could be doing some shredding too. She does say, and she does point out that it seems to be inevitable that she keeps just running into these people and finding trouble. So yeah, might not, hurt to be able to hold her own, which is why she's taking these lessons. And come on, just give us super Claire. Come on. Give it.
It'll be well worth the journey if it does happen. And something that wasn't worth the journey, climbing over all those rocks and mountains and stuff, is Kunlun, because it's gone. Because all the people that were in the Hands little compound, I think, attacked Kunlun, and then it's gone. So I don't know if the way there is gone, or the Hand took it off the map literally, or what, but it's gone. Kunlun, gone.
And because they didn't really build up Kunlun or make us or have us visit there or anything like that, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. Like, all right.
Yeah, I just...
You guys are making
again, it's like you ditched him. What were you expecting?
Well, and also, like
you left him unprotected.
Why would we even care about these guys? All we really saw of anyone except Davos is them, like, beating 10-year-old Danny with sticks.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most positive picture here.
Well, there wasn't.
And we see Davos, the only other person from Kunlun, and he's a total dick. So.
Yeah, well, we got mental pictures. So there was kart racing. There was stealing apples.
Yeah, and then they probably got beaten with sticks.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe that's why
I don't know,
he got
maybe they
beaten with
dumped
sticks.
him in boiling water afterwards, for all we know. We don't know. I mean, every time Danny tells a story, it's rosy and happy, but when you see a flashback, it's terrible.
Okay.
Yep.
And I know Kunlun is supposed to be one of, like, the cities of heaven, but that's not what we're presented with. We're presented with, like, guys beating a 10-year-old with sticks. It's not great.
Exactly. So this whole series was not worth the journey because we didn't get the Kunlun that everybody wanted. All right.
Well, I would say the journey was kind of a winding road that led to, okay, have you seen The Land Before Time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Quite a few times.
You know the part where they're like, the Great Valley, and instead it's just like a single tree and all the other dinosaurs eat it first?
Yep.
It's like you were expecting to go to the Great Valley, and you get to a place where there's a big tree, but it's not the Great Valley.
Only Lauren can equate Iron Fist to cartoon dinosaurs.
Hey, one of those was good. It wasn't Iron Fist.
Fair enough. There's a difference. So we've come to the end of the discussion of the episode. We've talked a
We
lot.
haven't talked about Ward at all.
Yeah.
Do we have to?
Whose character was completely different in this episode than it was in the entire rest of the series.
Yep.
And you can chalk that up to him not being strung out on drugs, I guess.
Yeah, he's like, I sobered up now. Guess I'll shoot my dad.
Well, he was
Kills
still,
his dad again.
he was still conniving. I mean, the only reason he met with Danny was because he thought that Danny was the best chance that he had of killing Harold. And aside from that, I don't think he wanted Danny around at all.
I don't think that's the case. I mean,
At the end,
presented at face value.
yeah, at the end we have that picture of the two of them, the two portraits side by side, and he doesn't look like completely angry about it.
Haley, you're willing to take this at face value? Something in this show?
Yeah, because I think in season 2, he's going to be like the decent guy running the company, and Joy's going to be the bad guy.
Yeah, they really seem to be setting it up for Joy to be the one making, the face heel turn.
Yeah, but like that came out of nowhere too. Like really nothing up to this point has put her in a position to be like, yes, Danny Rand must die.
She is the same
Everything
woman.
involving them was kind of a mess.
She was the same woman that gave him the M&Ms to prove who he was.
I feel like they had decided that at the end of the season, they wanted it to be that Danny and Ward were bros and Joy was set up to become the villain, but they didn't take us on that journey. That's where they ended it. And also she's mad at Ward for lying to her about her father being dead, but she's not mad at her father for lying about being dead.
Again, writers, just take a step back and reevaluate this for just a second.
Like, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that happened in the last episode that should have been taking place over the course of like the last 4 episodes.
I feel like maybe this stuff feels like a first draft.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, it was like the NaNoWriMo, I need to finish this, but then they didn't actually go back and edit.
Yeah, it's like they had their big writers' room meeting, and it's like, okay, we want to make sure we're at this place by the end of the season, and we're gonna hit all these story points in between. But then they didn't like divide it up among the episodes correctly, and they were like, oh crap, we're at the last episode, we still have to do this thing. Just do it. Just make it all happen.
Or they realized, oh my goodness, all these women are so much better than all the guys that we've written. Let's fix that somehow.
Kind of like the
What
show.
do we do? I know.
Yeah, kind of like the show where I've replaced Operator, Wing, and Beef with you 3 ladies.
Yay! Vast improvement.
All of us can pronounce our H's.
For those that don't know, those were the 3 that started Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcasts, and Wing is French-Canadian and cannot pronounce
Quebecois?
H's.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So now, Haley, you got it out of your system. We've talked about Ward. Is there anything else you want to talk about this episode?
I guess I'll keep talking about Ward. Maybe they wanted Ward to be the big bad, the big bad for next season, and then they were like, "Wait, there's no way this Putz could be the big bad. Just have Joy do it instead."
Let's have the smart one do it.
And another thing about the guys in this show being dumb. They said 10-year-old Danny wouldn't, even a 10-year-old wouldn't believe that planes just fall out of the sky for no reason. Yes, a 10-year-old would exactly believe that very thing. What 10-year-olds do, they believe what you tell them.
The bolt sheared and the plane started coming apart. That's what happened.
Like, look, when I was 10, I believed people caught on fire for no reason, okay? People believe dumb things when they're kids.
Spontaneous combustion. It was a thing. Still is.
No, it's not a thing. People catch on fire because they're alcoholics wearing cotton clothing who fall asleep while smoking.
Yep.
They become a wick and then burn down like a candle.
And
that's why their feet are left.
There are adults.
They're done burning by then.
There are adults today that believe that planes fall out of the sky for no reason. So a 10-year-old would definitely believe it.
I'm a rocket scientist, and I believe helicopters are going to fall out of the sky for no reason. Because I don't think they should be up there to begin with.
I've had nightmares about that.
Yeah.
Like every time they fly over my house, I'm like, this is the time when one is going to crash on my car. And it never happens. And I'm very glad it never happens for a number of reasons. But it's just like one day, I know.
It's because you watch too many TV shows where people actually jump off of buildings and fall on top of cars. That's why.
Exactly. I'm worried about people falling on my car, like Con Air. And there's like a message written on Dave Chappelle's shirt. And he's crashed into my car.
Dave Chappelle. I mean, that's the guy, Dave Chappelle.
Yes.
Okay. Haley, are you done with the episode yet?
Yeah, I can do my quotes.
Okay, well, before we get to the quotes,
sorry.
Are we done with the series? You want to give the series one I mean, I know we talked about it, but let's give the series one last review, and Haley, we'll start with you.
Are we doing this like on a 10-point scale?
You called it. Let's do it.
I think it's like, I want to give it a 2, and then I'll like give it a bonus point for Claire, a bonus point for Colleen, and a bonus point for Jerry to bring it up to a 5.
Yeah, I was going to give it about a 5. I mean, I've seen way worse, and the women are genuinely awesome on this show. The guys are kind of all trash, though. And the writing is uneven at best.
Michelle?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's meh. If you're a diehard Marvel person, you're going to watch it. If you have to podcast on it, you're going to watch it. But it's one of those things that, you know, if you've got a lot of other things to do with your life, skip it and watch The Defenders instead. If you've got to pick and choose, you can go dry. Instead of this, you can, I don't know, but it's one of those things that where, yeah, there are worse things, but it's also just kind of so you can't really even, you could barely hate watch it, you know, that sort of deal. So yeah, it's, yeah.
Okay, Michelle, I'm not going to let you off the hook. Scale of 1 to 10. Where are you?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotta go like a 4.
Okay.
5, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll raise the 5 with half a point for Joy and half a point for Gal, which actually should be more, but that's all I'm willing to give, a 6. And that's it. And that's really giving them every trick in the book that they've used. And yeah, there you go.
All right, I'll ask Lauren and Michelle this, because you both watched it all the way through before we started podcasting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you have watched any of these episodes again if we weren't doing the podcast about it?
No.
I might have watched just the Colleen and Claire scenes because I've decided I need to write Colleen, Claire, femme/.
Okay, that makes sense.
But other than that, no.
I buy that, because all the other Netflix shows so far I would watch again, but not this one.
Yeah, I would even watch Daredevil season 2 again before watching this again.
Jessica Jones was so dark.
They're not Elektra, though. So, thumbs up for that one.
So Jessica Jones was so dark for me personally. I don't think I'll ever rewatch it, but the others I would definitely. And I wouldn't rewatch Jessica Jones because it's not good. It's just too dark for me with all the mind games and stuff like that. So yeah, to answer your question on that, which you didn't ask me because I'm the one guy on the show.
Well, it's more like you didn't binge watch it at first.
You're watching it the first time now. Are you going to rewatch this though?
No, never. This is gone. I will never see this again.
All right. I have quotes. I have so many quotes.
All right, shoot.
Jerry Hogarth, I see you've aged reasonably well.
But he said it it was like so complimentary and condescending all at the same time. It was great.
I'll send flowers to his funeral.
Another great he had the quotes in a lot of episodes, specifically this one.
$5 will get you exactly 2 seconds of my time. Which means BT dubs, she's making $9,000 an hour.
Oh, she does live in New York.
And if she's only working 40-hour weeks, that was like, I did the math, it was like $18 million a year.
Well, there's some pro bono in there too. They have to do pro bono. Just take that into
Right, but
account.
she's also probably working more than 40 hours a week.
Well, she's probably billing more than 40 hours a week.
Well, that's true. Oh, wonderful. Sorry. Oh, wonderful. Another fugitive from the law.
Jerry Hogarth.
Let's make a list of things you are never allowed to say again, starting with that.
So we don't do this, and we don't say this.
I have never lied to him. Can you say the same?
Hee.
So good.
Ice cold gal. Stop thinking like a child. Thank you. We've all been thinking it all season.
Exactly.
You are the terrible. What did she say? You are the terriblest Iron Fist I've ever met, or something like that.
That one was a longer quote.
It was so good. I like when I first was watching it and she said that, I cheered.
It's like that. You are the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
And he didn't even have a snarky, but you have heard of me response.
He just pouted. Danny, some stuff you just can't punch. Jesus, is there a version of this where we don't kill someone?
I love Claire so much.
I'm an a-hole and a liar. I don't dispute that. I swear on my life I didn't do that. Which was funny because Harold said it. Okay. Unless you're bulletproof, we have to wait. If only we knew someone who was bulletproof. That could go. I can't say that quote, but it was funny. You know me. I always enjoy a good cremation.
I love that one so much.
I really didn't realize there was going to be so much emotional honesty. You're both pretty effed up and need some serious psychological help.
I love that that was just what she finished with. There was no but after it. She was just like, that's it. I'm out.
And I'm taking these with me.
Did she take pizza with her too?
I think
I don't know. She had a couple slices at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wrote down almost every line that Claire or Jerry said.
Well worth
That's
it.
because they're amazing.
Yeah.
And Danny said something in this episode which just sums him up. He actually said, "I'm such a jerk."
Yep. Yep.
You
All right. So that was some great goodness that we had for the end of Iron Fist. We made it to the end. We made it to the end!
Yes.
Yay!
And so next time we will be discussing Inhumans Season 1. Did I just say that? Season 1. Season 1, Episode 1, Behold, the Inhumans, and Season 1, Episode 2. Those who could destroy, or those who would destroy us. And the benefit here is it's only 8 episodes long, and this is 2 out of the 8. So we only have 6 more to go through after this.
So we'll be a quarter of the way done tomorrow with watching it. That's something, at least.
Indeed, indeed. But if you want to go over to the GonnaGeek.com network, which we are a part of, and catch all the great stuff that's over there, there's a new podcast on the network. We've talked about them before. We're going to talk about them again because they were on the top of the promo list, and that's Just One More Fix. They recently published episode 55, Cal-Chenier Interview. After playing Blood in the Chocolate, the Just One More Fix crew sit down and talk with any award winner, Cal-Chenier, to talk about RPGs, game design elements, and other geekiness. Once again, that's episode 55 of Just One More Fix. All right, you ladies ready for some news action?
Yep. All right, so many of you may not know that August 28th, 2017 was Jack King Kirby's 100th birthday, and Marvel.com has been putting out every day a little short article about one of the things he wrote during his career, both with Marvel and outside of Marvel. So you should check that out. You can find it at Marvel.com. But every day this month they did that. So today we're recording on September 28th, so it's been a month since his 100th birthday, but we forgot to talk about it at the time, so I felt like it was important to bring up. Next. Oh, yep.
That is important to bring up. Jack King Kirby is one of the two biggest founding members that I've run into in my review of Marvel Comics. Just started a couple years ago, so very grateful for him. Just want to say thank you very much.
Yep. He and Stan Lee made Marvel Comics what it is today. So next we've got some news about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ABC braces for deep impact with idle and inhuman challenges.
Yeah, this is something, you guys talk about, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and was it going to get renewed? Was it not going to get renewed? Well, found out that Disney told ABC to renew Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ABC was like, we don't want it. And Disney's like, you better. And then they were like, okay, mommy, we'll do that.
That's pretty much the way it went. Now, the ratings were just getting more and more dismal. Matter of fact, they were on the order of Agent Carter when we saw Agent Carter canceled. So we didn't really have a lot of hope. The only thing that we had hoped for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to carry on into its next season was that ABC's entire lineup was so dismal that they had a lot of bubble shows that they had to keep some in order to fill their full schedule for the 2017-2018 season. And it just makes sense that if there is some financial gain to be had from the company at large, the umbrella company, might as well keep that. So that's kind of where we were thinking anyway. So this is just confirmation of that.
Well, and here's my thoughts upon getting this news, is that really ABC's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not bringing in a ton of money on, the Marvel Studios or Disney level. Like, I don't think money coming in is really it. That makes me think it's probably a creative decision that they needed this next season, this fifth and final season, which is what I think it is, to get to Infinity War. And that makes me think that they're going to do something either with just Coulson's character or maybe all of the characters to kind of, at the end, tie them into the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a way we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, we had heard the rumors about, them having like 60 whatever characters in the movie or in one scene or something. And somebody had done a count and figured that might include our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. crew.
I've also heard rumors lately that there's plans to bring the Defenders in at the end with Infinity War stuff too. Again, this is, crazy internet rumor mongering. Take it with a heap of salt.
Mm-hmm.
So also, Michelle, when this news came out, you got on a group chat that we are in on the Gonna Geek, in some, Google Hangout chat, and you posted a story there about how much it costs to actually produce TV shows these days. And I thought that was interesting to bring up. So we know that Game of Thrones and like Walking Dead can go $12, $15, $20 million per episode. That means that they have to bring in that much money per episode in advertisements or subscriptions for HBO in order to cover the cost of that. And we know from our coverage of the CW shows that they target about $2 million per episode. But I guess the average for an hour-long show in prime time of a network show is $4.5 million for production. So in order to get $4.5 million in ad revenue back, they want generally about 5 million people or more watching that show. And we were just not getting that with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. last year. We weren't getting it with Agent Carter. So it'll be interesting as we go forward to see what these networks do. I mean, Star Trek Discovery just premiered the first episode. The rest of it's behind a paywall. I don't know how many people are going to pay for it, because why should I pay for a show that I have no idea if I'm going to like or not? I mean, we do it with Netflix because there's a variety of content. We do it with HBO because it's proven, and there's a variety of content. It's not just one show or two shows or one network. It's a bunch of stuff, and I think it
with
works.
HBO, it is one show. It's Game of Thrones, but Game of Thrones is so good that you'll pay for it anyways.
Well, it's Westworld. It's other shows as well. It's not just Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but that's Game of Thrones is carrying the network right now, which is why there's rumors of up to 5 spin-off shows.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Wow. Tyrion's Landing's going to be busy.
That's okay, because at least 4 of them will suck. I can't imagine they're going to actually make all of them, but they're trying to figure out what's going to carry the network next.
Well, wait a minute. There's going to be more than 5 characters left after Game of Thrones is over.
They're supposed to be prequels. Some of them are.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go figure.
Yep. All right. So, more on the TV side of Marvel news is some Netflix news. We may have a premiere date for The Punisher, which has been shrouded in secrecy up to this point. But there was an article in a magazine.
Total Film.
Total Film. And at the end, there was a little blurb that says The Punisher will be on Netflix from 13 October, which makes it seem like October 13th is the premiere date.
Quickly looking at my calendar. That would make it a Friday.
Really soon.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really soon.
And I will be out of town that weekend and probably not able to binge the series the way I should.
I'm kind of, I don't know. I was hoping for a November date just because, well, first of all, it would give us some time. And second of all, we seem to have reached kind of like a November, February, August type of thing for Netflix. But
well, Stranger Things is debuting at the end of October. So they might not want something to.
And I haven't seen anything on the here's what's coming to Netflix sites about that. I don't know.
I just don't get why they're keeping it such a big secret. Like, when is it coming out?
Maybe they want to get the buzz around the Infinity War trailer first and then throw in the Punisher. I don't know. Which, by the way, I've heard rumors that the Infinity War trailer is going to come out tonight or tomorrow night on Jimmy Kimmel. We'll see if that happens, but it was just a rumor. No confirmation.
An Infinity War trailer? That seems awfully early for Infinity War.
I do agree, which is why I said I haven't seen any confirmation of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would think they would do Black Panther first.
Yeah.
Because I keep hearing the Black Panther footage is off the hook.
Yep. But before we get to Black Panther, we have Thor Ragnarok, and we did get a new trailer for that. Sort of.
Yes. Well, we got a new trailer, I guess it was last week, but then we got they got a new trailer in China that has new footage. So that's cool. And we also, for Thor's Day today, got a Thor Ragnarok behind the scenes video on YouTube. Both of these videos are available on YouTube, and I highly suggest watching them. I'm really digging the whole 80s synth video, the music that they've got going on, which SP and I were talking about before we started recording. And it's, the very Guardians of the Galaxy 80s music thing. I think they're trying to just kind of tie them both together thematically because we need to bring the whole universe together for Infinity Wars. And also, I wanted to point out that we keep seeing Mark Ruffalo in character as Bruce Banner wearing a Duran Duran t-shirt.
Oh, that's my favorite band. That's how old I am.
Just tons of videos to talk about this week. As you may or may not be aware, there's a new X-Men show coming to Fox called The Gifted, and they put the first 6 minutes of it up online, so you can watch that now.
I have not seen it yet. I'm going to have to do that after we finish.
It's really good. I'm just like, I was watching it and then it stopped. I'm like, oh, that was 6 minutes? Holy smokes.
But it's coming out very, very soon. So there was also, I believe, another Inhumans trailer today, but that will be out before you hear it. So
yeah, I think I saw the Inhumans trailer actually before we were recording.
At this point, I don't need to see any more before I actually see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching Cartoon Network, and I think it was like Bob's Burgers or something was on. And then I just happened to look over at the TV, and it's Inhumans, and I was like, oh, God, that's tomorrow. I gotta have all the bourbon.
All right. And last bit of news is from the comic book side of the Marvelverse. And this is going to come as a shock to all comic book readers out there, but they're bringing a character back from the dead.
Gasp.
Oh my goodness. I have never heard of a comic book company ever bringing a character back from the dead, ever.
Is it Jean Grey again? Are we getting Jean Grey back from the dead again?
We are
No, they
getting
already had
5 Jean Greys back from the dead. No.
Yeah, that was last week's news, man.
Yeah.
Keep up.
This time they're bringing back Uncle Ben. No,
Oh,
not this
Not
time.
allowed to do that.
yeah, that's the one. Like it was supposed to be Uncle Ben and Bucky, but they
brought
And then they
back
brought
Bucky.
so
But that's okay, because Bucky is awesome.
Even
Yep, they did it in a really
And
good way.
confirmed bisexual.
even in Spider-Man, the Clone Conspiracy event that happened earlier this year or this year, they didn't bring back Ben. They brought back everybody else, but they did not bring back Ben. That's a line. You don't cross it.
Anyway, they're bringing back Wolverine.
he was gone.
That is the appropriate response.
Yep, that is in fact the appropriate response. But yeah, they killed him off, and Laura Kinney had taken over as Wolverine, and Old Man Logan had his own old thing going on. And actually, both titles are really, really good. And now they're bringing back regular Variety Logan to go regular Variety Loganing around. So
Is he going to have a limo?
that would be cool. I need to watch that movie again.
Is it out on
I have
Blu-ray?
it. Yeah, I have it. It's on
Oh.
my table over
I
there.
so need to get that. Ugh. Bad SP.
Is it on the stack of movies you bought but haven't watched again since you bought it? Because I have one of those stacks.
Yeah, I have one. Yeah, it's like we have all these movies, and I'm like, I think I'll watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure again.
The Martian makes its way into the DVD or the
Yeah,
Blu-ray
I
player.
watch Martian a lot.
Rosario Dawson is narrating Andy Weir's new novel for everybody there who likes audiobooks
It's all connected.
and The Martian.
#itsallconnected.com.
Do you put
real
in
site.
hashtag or you spell out the word hashtag?
You spell out the word hashtag. So spell out HASH, hashtag itsallconnected.com. That will take you to some amazing goodness.
Yes, try it out. See for
I
yourself.
am trying it out right now. It's very, very slow.
You've never tried it before, Haley? We've
No.
only been talking about it for a couple of years.
I thought you had.
Problem loading page.
Good to know. Good to
Server
know.
not found.
We will fix that. I will call.
Oh yeah, I think you need to fix that.
Yeah, I will call the company and get that fixed. All right, let's move on to some feedback.
All right, we got some feedback from Twitter this week. Most of it, in fact, all of it, is from Mr. Pericles. Thank you, Mr. Pericles. First off, impending Infinity War trailer, and he linked us to the article about could the Infinity War trailer drop tomorrow night during Jimmy Kimmel? And this was yesterday, so it could drop today. maybe? I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel, so I guess I'll just like keep an eye on Twitter to see what happens.
Yep.
Let's see. He also tweeted us about the article about Disney saving Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. from cancellation. And he tweeted us this wonderful, wonderful picture. I wouldn't be surprised if this is photoshopped, but I will refer to him as Frank Catzel, and so should you. And it's this beautiful picture of a cat, a black cat, with the Punisher's skull on his chest. And I think it's photoshopped, but it's amazing. And so Frank Catzel is now a friend of the show.
Kitty. Is he your spirit animal?
No, but he is my friend.
Okay.
Oh, it's good to have friends.
Yes.
All right. And with that, thank you very much for all the feedback, but we are going to rock climb this one out. Michelle, thank you so much for joining us for bookending this amazing, it was a Marvel Netflix series.
Hey, watching it again with you guys it's why I watched it again, because it was nice to be able to do this group therapy session with you guys in order to work through this. So this way, then it's like I was able to just get through these emotions together. Thank you for your wonderful support. And I feel much better in order to move on.
Now we can move on to bigger, better things. Well, we're going to be talking Defenders at some point, so that's something.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we're going to be talking about it a week from today. We're going to see the premiere episode.
Going for the next few weeks, it'll be Inhuman Sundays, Defender Thursdays.
I like it.
I feel like I'm going to like Thursdays a lot more than Sundays. I don't know. Sundays could be a good venting session.
Bonus, Starpie has to edit the Inhumans episodes. I get to edit the Defenders episodes. I don't know how that happened.
Jeez. The reason it happened is somebody was complaining about her other 3 podcasts that she's recording on Sundays these days.
I made up 2 of them.
Well played. Well played. Thank you very much, everybody who's been with us this entire time. We've hoped that you have had some laughs with us. We've intentionally tried to make this series a little bit more jovial than we normally would have, but it's just how we roll anyway. So thank you very much for making it through Iron Fist with us. And we look forward to the Defenders next week. And who knows, maybe we'll be surprised by the Inhumans.
We did it, guys. We all made it together. Go team.
Go team. Thank you so much for everybody who's gotten a hold of us, whether it's on Twitter, Born to Eat Bacon. Thank you for tweeting at us right now. Anybody who's just commented, we've gotten some comments on our YouTube page. Again, you can call us. We love hearing from you. If you are one of the people who watch Inhumans, and yes, I will be live tweeting it, we would like to hear from you. We would like to hear your opinions. And yeah, just know that you are not alone. Tell us that we are not alone. Yeah, thank you. Just thank you guys.
Yes, thank you to everybody that has struggled through this rewatch with us. We all made it. We're going to make it through Inhumans 2. We'll do it as a team, as a family. Maybe it won't be as bad as we think.
And why are we doing it? Because Haley put it on the schedule. We wouldn't do it if Haley didn't
put it on the schedule. Marvel put it on the schedule. Let's blame ABC for this. It's their fault.
You put it on our podcast schedule. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be covering it.
If it's in the MCU, we watch it.
Well, aren't there other MCU series out there too, besides the Marvel Netflix stuff?
Not yet.
The Freeform?
Not yet.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but that hasn't started yet.
Okay, fair enough. All right, we made it, and I'm going to rock climb this one out. Until next time, I'm Director Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Haley.
I'm Agent Lauren.
And I'm Consultant Michelle.
Bye, see you guys in a couple of days.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to gonnageek.com and you will find all our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofshield.com where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod, found at incompetech.com, and also artists on pond5.com and audiojungle.net. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual hosts and do not represent Stargate Pioneer Productions, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D, or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the property of the Disney Corporation, Marvel Studios, and ABC. No infringement is intended. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is copyright 2017.